Kong in the trunk.
I'm back. Rhodes Rants on Star Wars. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Join the Rhodes Squadron. We are back with Part 2, Series 1 of Act 1 leaks from Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I said this is an ongoing series where I will break down the leaks and give you my little tidbits as we go. Alright, so let's get it. The unknown regions. After obtaining Vader's device, Kylo travels to the place specified by the Wayfinder. It takes him to the unknown regions, a dead planet of flat black rock. I previously reported that the planet where Kylo finds Vader's Wayfinder was called Exgol. Since then, my understanding has evolved, and I've been told that this planet actually bears that name. Kylo lands outside a giant cube floating just above the ground and begins walking towards it. Kylo walks between the cube and the ground, and once he reaches the center, he discovers an elevator leading down below the planet's surface. He follows the lift down and finds an old man near death lying in bed, tended to by cloaked aides. My source believes these aides to be referred to as Sith loyalists. The old man identifies himself as Darth Sidious. Kylo initially dismisses the old man, knowing that the Emperor died over 30 years prior over the Force moon of Endor. Feeling that this must be a trick, Kylo claims that there must be some other explanation, such as the old man being a clone. My sources specifically tell me that Palpatine refutes the idea of being a clone and affirms that he survived his fall. After his defeat at Endor, he left the known galaxy and traveled to the unknown regions to rebuild his empire. Despite his skepticism, Palpatine begins to reel Kylo in and subsequently tells him of something known as the Force Dyad. The Force produces two incredibly strong users, and when they unite together, both become stronger than either one could be on their own. Palpatine believes Kylo Ren and Rey to be the two halves of this dyad, and shares this knowledge with Rey. Note, I previously wrote that Palpatine wanted to become Master and Apprentice. This has since been clarified as the two members of the dyad. Palpatine claims that he seeks the dyad because he is weak and dying, and he wants the dyad to rule together once he is gone. Palpatine orders Kylo to bring Rey to him and turn her so the dyad will be strong, unified force of darkness. Palpatine also reveals that he is amassing an armada of Star Destroyers equipped with Death Star tech, each one capable of destroying a planet on its own. Generals Hux and Pride are tasked with rounding up children in large numbers to train and staff his armada. The Resistance jungle base. Finn and Poe return to the Resistance base bearing the knowledge attained from their encounter with the First Order informant. The duo brings this knowledge to General Leia and tell her what they know about Kylo's mission to the unknown regions, but without any leads to where he went or how he got there, the Resistance is at a dead end. Leia mentions that a contact who is seeking a link to the unknown regions long ago and may be willing to help. Leia dispatches two of them, along with Rey, Chewbacca, BB-8, and C-3PO, to Pisana to meet her contact and see what help he may provide. When our heroes arrive on the planet, they discover a giant festival going on. We see that. What they thought would be an easy mission has now turned into a more complicated affair. They attempt to lay low and blend in. Unsurprisingly, Chewbacca struggles with blending in because he's very difficult to hide a 7-foot-tall Wookiee from prying eyes. Rey encounters an alien in the crowd who takes a liking to her, presenting her with a handmade necklace as a gift. She asks her name and responds Rey. When asked her family name, she replies she does not have one. At this time, Kylo establishes a connection with Rey through their bond. This necklace proves to be the key to the First Order discovering their location. After the connection ends, Rey warns her comrades that the First Order is on their way and that they must hurry to find Leia's contact. It is at this point that instead of finding their contact reveals himself to them after having spotted an old Wookiee friend out of the crowd. It's Lando Calrissian. Greetings and introductions are exchanged. Lando tells them of a dagger that may help them find what they seek. Many years prior, Lando and Luke went in search of this dagger that was owned by a Sith loyalist named Ochi. They tracked Ochi to Pisana when the trail went cold. When met with the question of why he never left the planet after the search for Ochi and his dagger ended, Lando tells the team that he had a young child at the time of his quest with Luke. While they were out searching for the dagger, the First Order stole the child. After having failed to protect his child from the First Order, Lando and Luke parted ways, and he stayed on Pisana ever since. This droid strikes a chord with Finn, having been stolen from his family at an incredibly young age. Lando points them in the direction of the last known coordinates of Ochi's ship, where the trail went cold all those years ago, wishes them luck in succeeding where he failed all those years before. He decides to sit this one out. Our heroes follow the trail that Lando pointed to them, and eventually they happen upon Ochi's ship. When Rey sees the ship, it triggers some memories. It's the same ship we see leaving Jakku in Rey's vision from The Force Awakens. Before the implications of this can sink in, the ground beneath them gives out and the crew gets sucked below the surface of the sand. They find themselves in a series of underground tunnels where they discover the remains of Ochi and the dagger that Lando and Luke sought after. Rey finds a very strong connection to this weapon, but she can't articulate it. The dagger has writing on it in a language that nobody can identify. It's then handed over to 3PO, who identifies the writing as Sith language, but he reveals he's unable to translate due to restrictions in his programming. At this time, a plan is made to hack into C-3PO's programming to bypass the restriction. Poe mentions that he has an old contact that might be able to help. Chewbacca takes possession of the dagger and the group's attention shifts to finding the way out of the caves. During their escape, the team runs into a giant, very aggressive sandworm. A battle with the sandworm ensues and our heroes end up backed into a corner, preparing to meet their fate when Rey notices a detail. The worm is injured. In a display of previously unknown power, Rey is able to heal the worm's injuries and providing the heroes with a chance to escape. Once the crew exits the cave system, they see a First Order Star Destroyer in the sky and know that Kylo Ren has found them. Once they realize that the First Order would have already found the Falcon, making that plan of escape impossible, the Falcon is boarded and subsequently taken to the Star Destroyer. In an act of desperation, the crew boards Ochi's ship in an attempt to get it working. It's on this ship that the crew discovers a new droid, Dio. Rey senses that Kylo is coming for her, so she takes off on her own to confront him and buys her friend some time. The TIE Interceptor flip. Yep. While Kylo and Rey are engaged, the Knights of Ren and the First Order head for Ochi's ship and our other heroes. Chewbacca splits off from the crew and attempts to delay the Knights, but is captured. The dagger is taken from him and he boards the First Order prisoner transport. Rey and Kylo both notice Chewbacca being taken captive and being brought to the transport ship during their confrontation. As that ship takes off, Rey shifts her attention from Kylo to her captured friend and begins to use the Force to stop the transport and pull it back to the ground. Kylo attempts to counteract this by pushing the ship away. Control over the ship becomes a battle between Kylo and Rey, much like the battle for Anakin's lightsaber in The Last Jedi. Kylo begins to gain the upper hand, which angers Rey. In her frustration, lightning shoots from her hand, destroying the transport ship and killing all of its passengers. Devastated by what she did, Rey collapses. While all this is transpiring, Poe, Finn, 3PO, and BB-8 get Ochi's ship in the air just in time to pick up a distraught Rey. With no Lando, no Falcon, no Dagger, and no Chewbacca, our heroes limp away from the desert planet. That is the end of the first act. It should be noted that while I don't love her having the power to pull a transport down, she ultimately fails in trying to do this, which is something we've had a real problem with, is Rey getting presented, not being and being great at everything, being able to accomplish anything. This is a key moment, and she looks to fail in this moment, and she knows it, and she shows anger, which is possibly leading to the dark side. So while there's an eye roll from her trying to pull the ship down, I understand what they're doing, because they're trying to show that she failed at doing something. I can say there's a bit of a trade-off there. I understand where they're going and why they're trying to get there. They're trying to present Rey with some sort of a failure, an insignificant one, because they have Chewbacca. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Join the Rhodes Squadron. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.